Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
It's really true, is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show on Hamilton Radio with my guest co-host, Doc G.
Hi.
Not only one of the owners who started Hamilton Radio, he'll tell you about that. He's also a producer here. Doc G, tell everyone when you started.
I started back in 1996, 97, and I just got tired of the music and just wanted to put some out there for everybody, for families, and just keep it clean, but keep it family friendly, keep it good for everybody. So if you can put shows like this on and just add to the variety, it's even better for people because they get the information that nobody else delivers and nobody else wants to. Everybody's afraid of lawsuits, but we see it different. Everybody needs a freedom of speech, and I feel that we are like that freedom of speech.
And we're now on iHeartRadio
We're on iHeartRadio. We're also on our Roku channel.
and Stream TV.
Yeah, my Stream TV. Yeah. Well, we've been on Stream TV for
Yeah.
a while, but your show is on this.
Yeah, my show's on now.
Yeah.
So, very cool. So, guys, everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass because I am a smartass, guys. That's right. I want to give a shout out to a couple of my sponsors, and one of my sponsors is actually my guest today, but let's start with this. Brian Buckenfuso. Everyone in Mercer County, New Jersey knows him as Bucky. He's a retired Robbinsville police officer, and Bucky's running for Mercer County Sheriff, guys. Listen to me. Vote for Bucky if you're from Mercer County. Okay, I've known this guy most of my life. He not only was an incredible officer, he's going to do an incredible job here as sheriff. Okay, vote for Bucky, guys. And then, of course, one of my closest friends, one of the greatest singers under Elvis in the world, Michael D'Amore, he put out an amazing, beautiful song. He recorded Daddy's Home with his little baby, 5-year-old little girl, in the background saying things to him. It is priceless. If you want to check out his songs in that song, you can go to www.michaeldamore.com. $1.99 to download the song, guys. It's priceless. Now, one of my biggest sponsors right here, see this banner, guys? Anthony Hudson, presidential candidate 2024. His slogan is People Before Politics. And yes, guys, I got to meet him and our other guest right there, Kevin Duncan. I got to meet them both with Ruben, the other producer here. We flew to Yuma, Arizona, and spent a few days with these guys at all the borders. So we are so excited to have him back because I am going to get this guy noticed. If it's the last thing I do, we need him for president. Okay, Doc G?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I've talked to Anthony on several occasions. Actually, I heard Anthony speak first time, and I said, this is the kind of guy we really need as our president because he is down to earth. He is blue collar. He knows what people go through, and he's the type of guy that understands the situations that every family in America that faces the problems today, and they're unbelievable. The amount of problems we have that we didn't have years ago, right?
So I'm going to introduce first Kevin. Kevin, I want you to say hello to everyone. Tell them what part you have in this, and then you're going to introduce our guest.
Can't hear Kevin.
We can't hear Kevin. Producer, get with it, baby.
Kevin, you're not muted, Kev.
Kevin, you're not muted on our end, sweetie.
Just check your connections. Make sure. Can't hear him.
All right, how about we do this? Kevin, you keep trying. Don't go anywhere, Kevin, but we'll introduce Anthony, and as soon as you're okay, we'll let you know. So keep trying to talk to us, okay? So everybody, Anthony Hudson. Say hello, everybody. Say hello to everyone.
Now we can't hear him? Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
I can hear Kevin really well.
Okay.
Coming from my end.
I think we can hear him now. Kevin, say hello.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Now we can, baby. So listen, Kevin, introduce yourself. Tell everyone your role in this, and then you give Anthony a proper introduction.
Yes, I'm Kevin Duncan. I'm actually the campaign manager for presidential candidate Anthony Hudson. We've made a long way in a short period of time on this campaign, and look forward to each and every day of doing more. But to introduce Anthony Hudson, this is a great man. He's lives a life that all of us do. He knows what our struggles are like, and it's time for a change. And the best way to get the change is think outside the box and not vote for another politician or celebrity, but vote for one of your own. And without further ado, Mr. Hudson.
Hey, Ant.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Jerry. My name is Anthony Hudson. Kevin said it beautifully. I am a blue-collar, grassroots, hardworking American man that lives the everyday average lifestyle in this country. And it is time to stop complaining and dividing this country with politics and start bringing this country back together with common sense. So as of August of last year, I put my name in the hat. The Federal Elections Commission approved my presidential campaign.
Yes.
And since then, we have flown over 17,000 nautical miles. We've been through 15 states, and we've helped thousands of American families in their time of need, whether it was in Kentucky, Hazard County, Kentucky, with the flooding last year. I was knee-deep in the muck and mud and debris and clearing out driveways and tearing down homes and handing out food and supplies, getting to know the people and letting them know that we care about them, letting them know that it doesn't matter what political side that you're on, in time of need, we've got your six. And then just recently, we were down in Mississippi where I met Jill Biden and the press secretary.
Yep.
We were helping the tornado victims down there. The next day, we were in Little Rock, Arkansas, because they got hit that night, that Friday night, with a tornado. And we have pictures up online of us cutting down trees, fixing garage doors, cleaning out driveways, really connecting and uniting with the American people. And we've developed the slogan, lead by example, not by luxury. And as I sit out here in my T-shirt and my fake sunglasses here and in front of my American flag, I sit here with a whole heart that bleeds red, white, and blue. And I'm here to put policies together that are going to help you have a better quality of life, to help you have the power that you're supposed to have when you have freedom in this country. And I can't be more grateful to Jerry and Gino and Ruben and everyone there at Hamilton Radio for everything that they've done. They flew us out. They put us up in a nice hotel. We did several shows, worked on a commercial, just to get the message out to everyone there on the East Coast and all across the country. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you for everything that you've done, your support, your continued support. And that leads us into today's show.
Yes.
We are here doing like a radiothon fundraiser for the next half hour, 45 minutes, to help raise money for our campaign. The reason we're doing this is because mainstream media is proven that they are not going to cover the average Joe. They could care less about the little guy, just like our government, just like our politicians. We have been all over the country. We've spent less than $7,000 with all of our travels, and we need to start taking in donations so we can continue the support and continue the message get out in front of people, hopefully get some billboards put up, hopefully get our own commercials put on some of the mainstream channels across the country. But we need your support. In Washington, D.C., along the Vietnam Memorial, there's engraved in the granite, freedom isn't free.
Right.
So with that said, we're not asking you to so much as donate to our campaign, but contribute a small investment so that we can continue to fight the fight for you and give you the representation that you not only need, but you deserve and that you've earned being an American citizen in this great nation. So, well, we're going to take questions from Jerry, from Gino. Kevin and I will be here to answer anything that you guys have, any questions that come up on your Facebook or your YouTube channel. Please let us know. We'll address them. But at the end of the day, we're asking for investments of $5, $10, $50, whatever you have. If all you have is a prayer, we'll take your prayer because we need it. This country is in a very, very dark spot right now, and we need the American people to come together, look at the future, and you can decide how bright it's going to be. Do you want to continue doing what we've been doing? Because it clearly doesn't work. You look at our kids, you look at how confused they are about their gender, their sexuality. They're spending more time preparing for classroom safety than they are their actual education, it seems like. We have children who are suffering from mental health. We have parents and adults that are suffering from mental health that are not getting the treatment. We have a wide open border, which, Jerry, you've seen firsthand. Ruben, you've seen firsthand. We have a leader that turns his back on our country to support another country with our tax-paying dollars, which is unconstitutional. So this country needs to right the ship. We need to turn this thing around and get back to where we used to be and make it better than that. And I believe the American people can come forward and make that happen, but they have to want to do it first.
So I'm going to start this, and then you think of a question because.
I got a couple.
Okay, good. So I want to give a shout out to Michael Zanman. He's an incredible entertainer. He was live in our studio this past week. During the interview, he brought up our trip to Yuma, Arizona. So we talked about it there on this past interview. And he was blown away by our posts, our photos, and the stories that he called me, him and his wife, and I told him everything. And it was his interview about his music, right, Doc G? Mm-hmm. And he actually said, can I bring it up, Jerry, I was like, absolutely, let's talk about it. And here's what I want to ask you on his behalf, and you can answer this for him, okay? First of all, how did you get the recognition to even go there? Because I told him that we were with the Sheriff Department and we were with the Border Patrol and with open arms. So he wants to know how that even happened for you to be able to do that and invite us.
Well, what had happened is Kevin and I and some of our other staff members were talking about another location outside of Eagle Pass, Texas, to go and acknowledge the issue at the border. We wanted to witness something that was a little different. You know, the geography was different, where Eagle Pass, the border crossings are happening right in the city, like right almost downtown Eagle Pass, Texas. Yuma, Arizona, Nogales, Arizona. There was a town in New Mexico that came up. There was Mexicali in California that came up. But I wanted something remote. I wanted something that had like the desert appeal, the mountains, the rough terrain, to show how easy it would be for someone to just cross over at any remote location and get lost in the mountains or get lost in in the desert and become a gotaway, one of those gotaway statistics. So I put out a video on social media and I got hundreds of responses, if not a couple of thousand, from the Yuma, Arizona, asking to come to Yuma. So Kevin started diving into the research. Research was showing that it was a hot spot. There was a lot of drug trafficking, a lot of weapons, a lot of sex traffickers, murderers, terrorists, a lot of cartel, a big presence of the cartel in Yuma, Arizona. So we immediately jumped on the bandwagon for Yuma, Arizona. We weren't showing any fear towards the cartel or towards the activity that's happening in that remote area. We wanted to be in the mix of it. So we put out a few phone calls, and when I say a few, maybe 3 or 4 phone calls before we had the assistant city manager call me back and tell me whatever resource we needed, they would give to us. The sheriff's department called us back and gave us ideas of locations of where we needed to go. There was also an invitation from the city offices to attend a congressional hearing about the border if we came at a specific time. So we said, absolutely, we're going to come to Yuma. We're gonna go to the congressional hearing. We're gonna listen to Jim Jordan and Matt Fry and Mr. Gates and or Mr. Fry and Matt Gates and 10 other Republican congressmen that were there that particular couple of days. And we went. We had backstage passes. We got in. We got to go up into the high offices with the city manager. We talked to him about the remote area. We talked to him about the remote area.
Hold on, Aunt. Hold on, Aunt. Your voice. Hold on. Okay.
And
Hold on, Aunt. Ann, hold on.
and
Now we're good.
Apologize to everyone out there. We just had some technical difficulties. Okay, continue, Aunt.
no problem. So we ended up meeting all 13 congressmen. I got to handshake with every one of them. I got business cards to reach out, contact them, told them who I was, what I was doing. A lot of them showed some support. You know, it's good. We appreciate what you're doing. We need more Americans to stand up and do what you're doing. So that was interesting. And one night, Jerry, I think you were there. We were out on the border. It was about 2 a.m.
Yep.
Kevin, Hope, myself, we had our dinner out there. The congressman came back out there, and they were trying to assess the damages, of what the immigration looks like in Yuma, but they saw absolutely nothing. Nobody came across. Nobody came around the wall. Nobody was there. So they left, went on about their business, and about an hour later, we saw several hundred people come around that wall about 4 a.m. And it was myself, Kevin, Jerry, Ruben, Hope, and I believe it was 2 Border Patrol officers, and there were 160 something people that came around the wall in the first wave. And you guys got to witness us process them. You got to see the policy as to how we get them up against the wall. We empty out their pockets, take their shoelaces. They ask questions. They take their picture. They give them some paperwork. And then they put them on a bus and they ship them off to an NGO camp where they get processed.
Wait, I want
Go ahead,
to
Jerry.
interrupt you, and I don't like interrupting, but I remember this like it was yesterday. Kevin, do you remember all of a sudden we were looking out into the field and we saw a van and it stopped and it shone its lights on us, and you said that's the cartel
Yeah.
letting us know they're there.
Yeah,
Remember
that
that?
was back. That was in that 8-mile stretch where the fence, the wall's not built because it's
Yep,
indigenous land,
yep,
and the cartels were out about midway of the fields. Of course, on the Mexico side, it's shining the lights back this way.
Yep.
And we later found out that that's what they're doing is they're signaling
yep.
for others.
So I
Well, we even had a car follow us for a little bit and then just back off. I was driving your rental car at that point in time. But that creates a problem in this country because the indigenous people do not want the wall on their property, and they create an 8-mile gap from border wall to border wall, so to speak. And they don't want the wall because they want the animals to be able to migrate back and forth from Mexico to the United States because they hunt those animals. And I really put a lot of the blame on the indigenous people at that particular reservation because they're not seeing the point. The point is national security. The point is controlling who comes into the country and how they come into the country. If they're worried about animal migration, we can help relocate animals from Colorado or New Mexico or northern Arizona or California to that location so that they will have hunting game. But what we can't have is an 8-mile gap in our wall that tells everybody, hey, from San Diego to this point, we have a wall to deal with, but from this point to San Luis, Arizona, we can walk straight through. It's useless. It makes the entire system a flawed failure, so to speak. So, I talked to one of the tribal policemen, I think he was with the tribal police, and I told him, I said, well, if you guys don't want to adhere to having the wall put across the border, then how about we build the wall completely around the reservation so that we are protecting the 330 million Americans that live on the north side of this wall, and you guys can use your resources, your tribal police, your money that you gain from the casinos and things like that to secure the reservation, the indigenous land. And they didn't like that at all. They didn't like that. Oh no, then we'll feel, like we're not part of the United States. I said, no, you're a part of the United States, but we can't have a hole in the wall. We have to finish the wall, and we have to encourage the migrants to come through POE, point of entries that are legal, so we can promote legal immigration into this country. And when I say promote legal immigration, I have already, just last week, we have written a proposal for our citizens bond, and we have sent it out to senators and congressmen to gain support so that we can push it up to Capitol Hill to have it become a law. I've already worked on my very first bill in this country, and we did it last week. And we did it based on all the knowledge that we've gained, all the things that we've witnessed with the immigration, the process that's in play, how the government is lacking support at the wall. And we put together a really good idea that would make an easier pathway for immigration into this country legally and give the migrants benefits to be here. So I'm hoping for some good news to come out of that here in the near future.
So
Yeah, and I want to thank Chris
ahead,
Bridges for writing that up for us. He's an awesome assistant manager. He really is.
yeah, shout out to Chris. Yep. So, all right, before I hand the mic to Doc J, I just want to say one more thing. Guys, we're going to try and do our best to raise funds for this campaign, because this isn't about Anthony Hudson. This is about the United States of America. This is about us, okay? And I need this guy to be our president. So we'll talk more about that. Doc G.
Well, let me give my personal opinion, and then I'll go into the question. Over the last 20, 30 years, I'm going to be 62 in June. Over the last 20 or 30 years, or even before that, we've had party after party after party going to fix a problem that the other party started or the other party said it started. Nobody knows exactly what happened. We know because we're the people experiencing all the issues. But my point is, I'm tired. I'm tired of the game back and forth, back and forth. I want somebody that wants to take care of this country. Kevin, you know what I'm talking about. Take care of this country, help the people that need the help. Everybody that's here, the homeless veterans, everybody that's here that just needs a helping hand, but don't give the money to everybody else, other country, because we got to take care of our own first. That's one thing. This is part A of the question. The economy is so bad right now for everybody in every state. Everybody I've talked to, they have a lot of problems raising money, trying to pay their bills. We know that Basically, the problem stems from just one thing, which is called gas prices, fuel prices. Now, the fuel prices were a little lower. It wasn't too bad for everybody. But now that they went up, it affects everything in the economy. It affects, and you know this, Anthony, because of the trucking. It affects everything that anybody buys and does. That's part one of the question. How will you deal with people that want to live and just enjoy their life, whether it's the rest of their life or any part of their life, in their own environment without affecting anybody else, and just create a nice influx of money? These people aren't asking to go on yachts or anything like that. They just want to be left alone, enjoy their life. And part two of that question is, because this is the economy, is how do you feel about people having to leave the state they were born into, where their family was, and they have to leave it because they can't afford to live there? That's the two questions.
There you go.
Are they good?
Well, when I was a young man, a boy, 10, 12 years old, my grandparents lived in North Texas, and I'm from Texas originally. We used to drive around a lot with my grandfather out in the country, and I noticed these big iron horses out in the fields, and they were like teeter-totters. They were swaying up and down and up, and I asked him, I said, what are those things? What are those, Grandpa? And he goes, the best way I could describe that to you is when those are moving, times are good. When they're not, pray. So with that said, and we're talking about the oil, the oil rigs that are pumping out in North Texas. The United States, people of this country, they really need to start getting their facts. We are the world's #1 producer of crude oil. It's below our feet. We literally live on liquid gold, and we should use it. I know there's going to be a lot of environmentalists out there. Oh, fracking is bad, and the mining the coal is bad, and it's bad. But these are the same people that think that we can combat climate change and control Mother Nature. Climate change has been changing since day one. Just like when you're born, you begin dying. I believe for a United States of America who fought and won their independence in 1776, we need to get back to that independence. Stop relying on the rest of the world. Stop taking my tax dollars to buy oil from our enemies in Saudi Arabia or Iraq or Iran, Venezuela. Start fracking. Start refining. Open up the 3 refineries that were closed down in the last few years. Start mass producing oil in this country. We have it. We need to use it. It's not a collector's item. It's not a Babe Ruth Topps rookie baseball card that there's only a few of them in the world and they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about a commodity that we could literally frack in 2/3 of the country. We need to frack. We need to use our natural resources in this country. And that is probably phase 1 of an America First agenda, is you have to get the oil under control. You have to get gas prices down. And it's simple economics. If you have a lot of something, it's worth less than if you only have a little bit of it. It becomes more valuable. Well, we only have a little bit of oil coming into this country right now, so it's very valuable, and it's almost $4 a gallon here in Michigan. And 2.5 years ago, we were pushing about $1.40, $1.50, and I think even at the Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, when they raised the gas prices, it was still sub $2 a gallon. I want the American people to understand that we can do it again. Just because we did it once doesn't mean the chapter is closed and we can't do it. We can do it again. We need the right resources. We need the right leadership. We need the people to come together and support an ideology that says America first, and let's combat these gas prices and bring down the cost of eggs, the cost of groceries, the cost of your shirts and shoes and hats and toothpaste, everything you buy. Because everything you buy comes in on a truck at one point or another, or a train. And the trains and the trucks use what? Diesel. When diesel's $5 a gallon, $7 a gallon in California, you're going to pay that difference in the store. So, how about we do away with the 16th Amendment of taxing our federal wages so that you can keep 100% of your paycheck? We install a flat tax of about 13% that you can choose to pay quarterly or annually.
Yes.
This will put more money in your pocket.
I love that.
If we can put more money in your pocket, you're not having to work as much overtime. You're not relying on bonus checks. You're not relying on the IRS to mess up and decide that they do owe you $500 a year from now. Oh, by the way, did I mention let's get rid of the IRS?
Get rid of them.
Yep, we don't need them.
I agree.
We don't need them. We can take those IRS agents, and if they want to maintain their government job, they can put on a border uniform and head down to the southern border and stand a post and protect our country.
There you
Yes.
go. I love that.
Okay, I love that.
Wow.
So I want to say something first, and then you can finish because this is important. I don't want to forget. So what I have a problem with in this country is this. I'm a vegan, right? So I do care about animals. I care about our country. I care about the land. I care about all of it. I've been a vegan for 30 years, okay? And I love our land. I love animals. I love it all. And I want clean air. I want it to be as clean and pure as possible. But here's the problem. What's happening in this country is like the vegans that don't want to hurt an animal, but they'll kill the person for wearing a fur. You see, that's what's happening here in this country because we're more worried about fracking than we are about the people's lives. So it's so contradictory to me, guys. I just can't wrap my head around what's more important, okay? Our trees or people? Listen, if we work together and do what's right,
You say both.
we can save both.
Right.
So this
Well, I
is
look at it
so
this way,
psychotic.
God put us here.
Yes.
God gave us the resources to live
Yes.
on this planet, being trees, animals, water. Those are that's called the circle of life. If you've
Yes.
ever watched
Yes.
The Lion King, they
Yes.
do a phenomenal job of explaining that to
Yes.
you. There's always a predator that preys on something
Yes.
weaker, and whether it's an alligator or a snake or a
Yes.
lion or a bear or a wolf, it doesn't matter. They're all part of the food chain. And back in the day, before we let technology completely take over this country, the cowboys, the Indians, they hunted
That's right.
bear and deer and
That's
goats
right.
and whatever, and they lived off the land.
That's right.
And they had more freedom then than they do now because
Yep.
technology and AI and the government seem to get in our way of freedom. If you want absolute freedom, people, you need to understand the sacrifices that we have to make to protect that freedom. There is so much going on in this government right now that is against the law by the Constitution.
Yep.
And for me to dive into some of it would blow your mind. You would listen to the words I have to say and be like, no, Anthony, that's bullshit. That's BS. That's wrong. That's not right at all. It is right. The problem is we've been so politically brainwashed by all these politicians so that we think Social Security is legal. I'm not saying I'm going to abolish Social Security, but Social Security, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, is a socialist agenda and is unconstitutional by constitutional law. But yet, wait a minute, time out. We all been paying into it. That's our money, right? So if we're going to continue to have Social Security, why don't we set it up so that, okay, I'm 46. I've been paying into Social Security for 28 years. I've probably got $60,000, $70,000 in my Social Security right now, right? Somewhere, guesstimate, $80,000.
Yeah.
I have a circumstance in life that says I'm struggling. I lost my job.
I agree.
Or I have a medical crisis where I got to get to the doctor and have neck surgery or,
Right.
or inflation. I can't afford, and I've got money sitting over here. That's my money. I ought to be able to pull it,
That's
use
right.
it, protect my livelihood.
I agree.
And then if I have to pay it back to keep the program open so it doesn't hurt me when I do retire, then we pay it back at a cap of like 1.5%. That way you're still paying an extra 1.5% on what you borrowed against your own money.
Right.
Something else kind of works like that, right? It's like a 401k.
Yes.
You can pull it, but you have to buy into it to be able to have the funds to pull when you need it and then pay back a penalty. We want to keep the penalty minuscule because we don't want to go around promoting to everyone in the country that you can just pull out your Social Security now, and never pay it back. The point of Social Security is to help you in your older years when you retire. But Social Security, again, is unconstitutional. Your driver's license is unconstitutional.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I say this is because if you have absolute freedom in your life, you do not have to ask permission to do anything. You don't have to ask permission to drive, which is what a driver's license is. You don't have to have permission to carry a gun, which is, they want you to get a license to carry a gun. I don't need a license. Once you require me to have a license, it becomes a privilege, not a right. And according to our Constitution, we have the right to bear arms, and we need to protect that. So I'm tired of asking people for permission to live my life my way within my boundaries. I don't want government telling me you can't drive your car on this street because we're trying to protect the climate. We're trying to protect the ozone. We're trying to protect this and trying to protect that. Why don't you go to all these big manufacturing companies all over the world, not just the United States, but all over the world, and start regulating the silos that are emitting pollutions and pollutants all day, every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I don't see anybody targeting that. I don't see anybody targeting tractors.
Nope.
Let's make energy efficient tractors, not electric tractors, but energy efficient tractors. How come tractors don't have a DEF system on them, but semi trucks do? We don't need a DEF system on a semi. If we clean our diesel just a little bit more, like the Germans do, then we can burn cleaner diesel just like they do. They don't have a DEF system on their semis because they clean it one step further than the Americans do. And if we would just take the lead on that, take the initiative to clean the diesel like Germany, we can get rid of the DEF systems and we can burn cleaner diesel, whether it's in semis, it's in 2,500 pickup trucks, 3,500 trucks, tractors, trains. If we can burn cleaner, more pure emissions, we can save a lot, because you can't force everybody to buy an electric vehicle.
So
The blue collar society of this country simply cannot afford to buy electric vehicles. If you stop paying Ukraine our money, then the government should buy us our own electric vehicles if they're going to demand that we have them.
I have a
The
question.
government needs to stop all that wasteful spending.
Yeah, I have a question about everything you just said. So, all right, where are the lines drawn with what's important and what's not important for the United States? Who comes up with this crap? Like, all right, for instance, you were talking about the Constitution, our rights, okay? And everyone that knows me knows that I was in Trenton with Ruben, actually, and my daughter. We were protesting with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for the Constitution, for our rights, okay? My grandson is 22 years old, and he's never been vaccinated. My granddaughter's 7, because I don't believe in vaccinations. And I had to go get a paper from this Christian lawyer to make sure this happens. The whole time back then, I'm thinking, this is so great. You know, then all of a sudden, when a light bulb went off years ago, I'm like, what the hell? Why did I have to get that signed from her? Why shouldn't I just be able to say, no, I don't want to? We have no rights. That's when it hit me, Aunt. Okay? So whether you believe in vaccines or not, that's not what this is about. What it's about is our rights. And Aunt, where do they draw the lines? Like, who says, we don't want to frack because of the oil in the air and blah, blah, blah. But yet, the diesel, that's okay with what you were just talking about. Like, where are the lines drawn?
Well, these lobbyists and these conglomerate billionaires in this country they're persuading government.
That's right.
By putting a ton of money into the pockets of these politicians to buy into their agenda. Okay. I turned down Ford Motor Credit for a donation to my campaign.
Wow.
Tell us.
That's
They
the credit to your
wanted me-
character, Gather.
Go ahead.
They
Good.
wanted me to promote electric vehicles in exchange for their monetary contribution
There
to
you
my
go.
campaign.
And I love you more.
God bless.
I love you
No.
more. What?
No, but that's a
not gonna
credit
do
to your character. That's
Right.
exactly what I'm saying. You're an amazing man. Good, Jerry.
Kevin, let's give Kevin the mic
Yeah,
for a
go ahead,
minute
Kev.
because
I'm
he
sorry.
keeps trying to say something. Say something. Come
You
on
know,
over.
there's been so much political law that goes against our constitutional law. And in today's society, everybody's pretty much adapted to it as a normal way of life.
Right.
And when all reality, the very first thing that a president does is when they're sworn in to office is to protect our Constitution. Since 1917, there's not been one president that has upheld that oath in all reality, because there's political law, a lot of these bills that are passed and everything, a lot of it goes against our constitutional rights. You know, Anthony was just talking about funding other countries, you know, and Social Security. We just had, over the past 2 weeks, the hot topic has been the debt ceiling. And they're talking about if negotiations aren't met, then, Social Security would be frozen. Public or government officials won't be getting salaries. My question is, why is the government spending Social Security taxes? Why is the government spending our Social Security money?
Yep.
The Social Security tax that's held out of your check is actually a voluntary thing to be held out. You can actually be exempt from that. You can file forms to be exempt from that. But with all the spending, wasteful spending that the U.S. government does, all that money needs to be redirected right back here to the country, to our people. Let's fix America first. Every night we got 37,250 veterans that sleep on the streets every single night.
Yep.
We got a plan. There's over 500 military bases that are closed down across the U.S. They already have the bunkers set up. They already got housing. They already got water. They got electric. Open these back up for our veterans that are homeless. Create jobs for them. It can also help with the homeless population. There's housing there.
Yeah, I agree.
They got electricity. There's water there. All right. People want to know how it can be funded. Open up jobs back up on these bases. That'll give those that live there an opportunity to work. It'll help the economy. It'll help get them off the streets. It'll get them in a house. Our veterans that are homeless, it'll give them a sense of pride to help them feel like they fit back into society. Not only that, if we redirect money instead of wasting it, with the taxpayers' dollars, that money can be redirected back to help the problems that we have. We don't need a federal building that costs $65 million just to be named Nancy Pelosi.
Thank
We
you.
don't need to be sending $430 million to Jordan to secure their border when our southern border is wide open.
Wait, talk about that, please. Hold that thought. How dare they? And how are we allowing it? How do
Yes.
we not have say? Talk.
If you go back and you look at the last bill, I think it was $1.7 trillion they passed in November or December of last year. There was $430 committed to the country of Jordan to secure their border. There was $11.1 billion for the FBI, $2.3 billion for U.S. attorneys, $65 million for a federal building named Nancy Pelosi. $3.6 million for a Michelle Obama walkway, $5 million for a Be
Crazy.
Safe highway.
It's crazy.
I mean, and the list goes on, and it's all public access. You can go back and you look all this stuff up
Right.
yourself, even. And you know, is $47 billion for Ukraine. And there's a lot more to it. I'm just naming off. some of the
Kevin,
stuff
you're
off
just
the top of my
adding things
head.
up, but these are all little things. But at the same time, what about all the millions and billions of dollars missing? They can't even account for it.
Exactly.
Where is that money?
Exactly.
Where did it go? If we can keep track of everything, and I realize it's a lot of money, but you can understand how that affects the country.
You know,
Yeah, but
worked at
I promise you, if you put $2 billion in front of me, I promise you, I will not lose it.
Yeah, no,
I believe
I
you.
agree with you. But
And
you're
that's
a
just it,
thrifty spender. You understand? Go ahead, Kevin.
There has to be, our campaign, we live on 3 words: responsibility, accountability, and consequences.
Wow.
Our government, regardless of whose responsibility
Account-
is, there's no accountability,
Exactly.
and there sure as hell ain't no consequences
you go.
for none of them.
That's right.
So let me give you a solution to a lot of this, because
Yes.
everything that Kevin is talking about is what we call big government.
Okay.
Okay. This is a result of our government being bigger than they were ever supposed to be.
That's right.
So here's
Downsize.
what I propose.
Okay.
Congressmen, senators, House of Representatives, salaried at $65,000 a year, not
Amen.
$215,000 a year. They get regular health care benefits that you and I buy into in the real world. It's time to make our government see what it's like to be an American living an American life.
Yes.
We need to get rid of the Department of Education. The Department of Education, the public schooling is a violation of constitutional law. Education was never intended to be free. It was always intended to be tuition based, so that Jerry, if you and I and Gino and Kevin and Ruben, we all live in the same community, but only Kevin and I have kids going to school, the 3 of you are not paying taxes to go to that education system because you don't have kids going to school there.
I agree 1,000%,
Yes,
and
me too.
especially for seniors. I'm in a 55 and over now. Why am I still paying those taxes?
Yep, you shouldn't be.
Exactly.
So we get rid of the Department of Education and we take it back to where it's supposed to be, tuition based. Now, can the states implement grants and things to help those in poverty? Absolutely they can. That's what your state taxes are for. Federal taxes are not supposed to go towards education. So let's get rid of the DOE.
Yep.
All right, let's turn around and let's look at the FBI, CIA, and the DOD. We can shrink them down so that they're plausible at best, okay? So that we can use them for the resources that we need them for, not overpay them and allow them to grow so big so that they expand everywhere, but we don't need all that. We're overpaying the three lettered organizations in this country. The IRS needs to be on the list right there with the Department of Education.
They need to be gone.
We need to, and as brutal as this sounds, those of you who are listening that are still here that support what we're doing, you just got to trust me. And I hate to say that because my grandfather always said, he was a very smart man, by the way. If someone says, trust me, don't trust them. But you have to trust that if we cut the head off of government and bring it back down to reality, we will survive.
I agree.
We
I agree.
will be able to evolve our government
Right.
and mold it to the definition it was intended to be. Government was never intended to be this big or this powerful or control
I agree.
this many people. It's the other way around. Look it up, people. If you don't believe me, look it up. The government was created by the people to govern the people, which means to work for the people and have our best interest at heart.
I agree.
We suffer on a daily basis because of the decisions that are being made in Washington. It's time to make better decisions so that we can live better out here. in
and
the
to
real
take
world.
control, to take our control back, guys.
We
So
have to do it. And January 6th is not the way to do it. You've got to do it the right way. The Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence talk about if the government purposely hurts my happiness, we can abolish the government and start over. I don't think we need to start over. I think we need to go down and we need to audit every governmental department there is out there
Yes.
and get
I agree.
rid of what we don't need.
then I think we would be starting over.
Well, right now there's 1,077 elected officials telling 330 million Americans how to live their lives.
So this
And
is
it shouldn't be like that.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to take the last 10 minutes with both of you first talking about how we're going to raise funds, what your ideas are, and how they can donate. Let's go there now.
Well, I want the people to understand that what we're asking you to invest is not going to hurt you.
Okay.
We all are guilty of going into convenience stores or gas stations or restaurants and spending more than we need to spend. How many times do you go out to eat, you get an appetizer, a drink, and then your meal comes and you have food to take home? Without that appetizer, you could have finished your meal. Well, we want the appetizer because we have the freedom of choice in this country. All right? If you like your freedom of choice, if you like being able to decide how you live your life, where you can go, when you want to go there, and what you want to spend your money on, by all means, you're a patriot. I love you and I support you 100%. But the facts are, the reality of today's world, not only do we have to fight for the right to work in this country because AI is taking over, we have to stand up against the tyranny and the corruption that is the United States government. We are a laughing stock of the world right now. Our border is wide open. Our education system is a joke at best. People are fragile, and we've allowed this to happen. This isn't the government's fault when it comes to the social issues. We, the people, have allowed grown men to dress up as women and go into schools and read storybooks or dance in libraries or, have conversations about, oh, you're feeling like you're trapped in the wrong body. You can do this to change that. No. Okay. I believe in the freedom of choice, but before that, I believe in protecting our children. 100%. You're a child for 18 short years. 2/3 of your life, you are an adult with responsibility and bills, and you're held accountable. And if you break the law, you go to jail, and it ruins your record. And if you don't pay your bill on time, you get bad credit, and that hurts you. And you spend the majority of your life trying to rebound to do better because you weren't taught right in the first place. Let's protect our children. Let's let them go back to having happy childhood memories. Let's let them play games, let's have sleepovers, run around the neighborhood at 2:00 in the morning and have fun without damaging property, without trespassing, without, all that crap. But let's let children enjoy childhood. And if you are a child that is 13, 14 years old, 11 years old, and you feel that you're in the wrong body, if you maintain that thought process when you turn 18, you can be legally allowed to take your hormone blockers and do your transition and things like that because you will be responsible for your decisions. You will be held accountable for the decisions that you make, and you will understand the consequences of the surgeries because your doctors will inform you of that. But no more hurting our children. No more having our children go to school and worry, us parents worry if they're going to come home that afternoon. We have a solution that would stop school shootings. We have a solution that would take government out of the homes and allow parents to parent their children the way they should and keep the government out of it, keep child protective services out of it. We are combating the family law system where it's unfair for fathers to have to pay up to 51% of their paycheck for child support but get minimal time with their children. We're combating that. We're fighting that. We're standing up and recognizing that not every father is a deadbeat, just like not every mother is a good mother to their children. Period. We are sitting here living the life that you live, and we're asking you to help us make a change. I don't have to do this. I don't have to expose my family. I don't have to expose my personal life. I don't have to expose my finances. And I damn sure don't have to stand up for millions of Americans who are against me or say, you'll never win, or you're a fraud, you're a fake, you're a phony, or you should no longer be living. I've had 2 death threats already. I'm not scared. I don't have to do this, people. I'm doing it because I care about this country. I care about my children. I love the idea of the American dream and the pursuit of happiness. I love the fact that this country used to be the greatest thing that was ever put on this planet. And I will focus on the word used to be, because we're no longer that. If you can spare $5, $10, we will make it go a long way. And I'll give you a quick rundown. I'll let Kevin talk. I've appreciated every one of you that have listened to the show today, that continue to come and support us. Since January 1st of this year, I have been to Eagle Pass, Texas twice, Yuma, Arizona once, for a total of 14 days. I've been to New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Oklahoma, California. I've flown over 17,000 nautical miles, and I've done it for less than $7,000.
Yeah.
Less than $7,000. The maximum amount that you could donate to a presidential campaign is $5,000.
Oh.
I have done so much with what little we have received, and that little that we receive adds up over time. I'm not going to beg you for your hard-earned money, but I'm going to ask you to open your heart, open your mind, think about where this country is. Would you appreciate tax exemption on overtime and bonus hours? Would you appreciate having full authority over your children? Would you appreciate a smaller government that can deliver bigger results for the people because the people hold the power? Would you appreciate having a border that's secured and quite honestly promoting legal immigration in this country? How about would you honor an American first mentality where we bring back our manufacturing, whether it's auto parts or toys or craftsmanship or tools or whatever you could think of? If we bring it back and have this country be about pride over profit, not profit over pride, would you condone that? Would you be happier knowing that you don't have to work till you're 65 to enjoy your retirement? If you can answer yes to any of these, this
To
is
all
just
of them. To all of them.
the
Go ahead.
scratching of the surface. We're just scratching the surface of this campaign. If you want change because you believe this country is headed down the wrong road, and you're tired of corrupt politicians, you're tired of wealthy celebrities yelling in your face, talking down to you, and using the word I with everything that's done instead of we, because the Constitution says we, the people, then I encourage you to donate $5, $10, $20, whatever you can. We have our website, AnthonyHudson2K24.com. You can make a donation there. If you have Cash App or Venmo, you can make a donation there at Hudson2K24. And look at it as an investment in your future. You don't need that cup of coffee from Starbucks for a day. Maybe you don't need that pack of cigarettes today. Maybe you don't need that candy and that pop at the convenience store today, or those lottery tickets today. Instead, redirect that money to something that is going to do some good for you. And that's what I'm talking about with our tax dollars. Reprioritizing how we spend the money that we receive from taxes and reinvesting it back into the United States of America. Because old Liberty, she deserves that.
Yep.
and she will fall if we don't stand up and do something. So we're asking you to please make a small investment to our campaign on our website, on Venmo, on Cash App. Jerry and Gino are going to continue to have us on their show. They're the only radio show in the country that is exclusively following a presidential candidate. And that's a fact. And we have more to come. I will be announcing soon another trip to New Jersey once we get the details lined out. And I'm hoping that in the middle day of that trip, if Gino's okay with it, we can do a meet and greet somewhere where people in your area can come out, say hi, shake our hands, talk to us in person, and we can all spread the love together within the community. And I would love for Bucky to be around so I can see him. That'll be after his election, but I am pulling for him. I hope he's listening to the show. I think he's the best man for the job. I've sat down and talked to him. I've actually texted with him a few times since I left New Jersey. Bucky would be a phenomenal sheriff for you guys there in Hamilton, in your county.
Mercer County,
So please stand up and support him, another American. And if you're hung up on the fact that I'm running on the GOP, stop. Right now, stop. This isn't about Republicans and Democrats.
Right.
This isn't about men or women. This isn't about black or white.
No.
And it damn sure isn't about Muslim versus God.
No.
This is about Americans who are constantly struggling, and we need a change.
Yes,
A vote for Anthony Hudson is a vote for yourself and your future.
that's right.
Kevin, thank
Kevin.
you all very much for listening to what I have to say.
Kevin, you got the mic, baby.
Yeah, if you look at what's going on with our current administration, our current government and everything, all it is division. Between the Republicans, the Democrats, all they do is constantly bash each other, slander each other, and now they're doing it within their own parties, And it's like I said earlier, if people want real change, you can't vote for the politicians or the celebrities. If you do, we're not going to have the change. You're still going to have the wasteful spending. You're going to still have the same political laws put in place. You're still going to have the division. And the only way that you're going to be able to beat that and actually be able to have some freedoms in this country is vote outside of the politicians and the celebrities. Ron DeSantis just announced that he was running. All right. You already got Trump, Nikki Haley, and Asa Hutchinson running. How much division is that going to cause within the Republican Party? And if any of those politicians get elected, you're going to have the same issues. You're not going to have the representation that the people have. If you want change, you got to think change. If you want something better, you got to do better. You want something, you got to get off your butt and you got to work for it. Anthony don't like asking for donations. I like to call them investments. We need those donations. We do need those investments in the campaign to be able to get out there and compete. We're up against an uphill battle, and it's not so much with the people as it is with the media. Main Street media will not cover a small candidate like this, someone that comes from the people. If you're not the rich millionaires or the elite politicians, you're not going to get that coverage. And the only way that we're able to be able to outperform them, I guess you could say, or get the recognition, is be able to get out and travel and meet the people of this country. And we can't do that without funding. So please, if you can make a donation, please do so at AnthonyHudson2K24.com or at Hudson2K24 Cash App or Venmo.
Thank you for that,
I'd
Kevin.
also like to encourage you guys to find me on Facebook, Hudson for President 2K24. That's 4 FOR. Hudson FOR President 2K24. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at Hudson 2K24. And of course, you can find me on TikTok, Hudson the number 4 President 2K24. I am a man of my word. My mom didn't raise me to play political games. My mom didn't raise me to be deceitful or to not bring you the truth as it's brought to me. And for once in my life, I believe that I am doing something that I was called to do, to stand up for the American people. We've all complained about politics. We have. And I know we've lost relationships, we've lost friendships, we've lost family members because of these political arguments, and they don't need to be arguments. If we can get into office, I promise you, we will do away with the Republican and Democratic parties. We will
Amen.
work to unite. We will work to unite this country as Americans and do away with the division that George Washington himself called in 1776. He knew it. He knew it. Why don't we know it today? We're living proof of a country that is, it's falling apart right before our eyes. And I'm sorry to say this, but if you have children that are anywhere from 14 all the way down to a newborn, I feel scared for their future. I really do, because the America that they're going to live in is not the America that you were raised in. And we need to stand up now. It is urgent. It's almost like dialing 911. I don't have to be the best candidate. I just have to be the best representation for the people. And with that, I guarantee you, I have put more thought and more time into these policies to help you than anyone else ever has. And I've included a lot of people in this country to come up with these policies. I can't take credit for all of them. It's a joined force with everyone that we've met. If you've got a question, reach out to me. Jerry, if you want to hand out our information on your platform, our email, our Facebook, our Instagram, you guys can send me direct messages and I will get back to you. I always do. I always do. It's time we have an honest America led by an honest leader who actually gives a shit or gives a crap about the people.
Thanks, Aunt. Doc G, your final words, and then I'll talk.
All right. I just have to say this, guys, that when I started this radio station over 26, 27 years ago, they did the same thing to me. They said, I had friends in the entertainment industry. The radio station will never amount to anything. It'll never be nothing. But here I am, 27 years, never believing in any word other than what God told me to do. Just do this because one day it's going to be needed for this country. And I believed that back then, and I believe it more now. And if people have the credibility to believe that, they'd be with me since the early 90s on a radio station that brought a lot of different music, but also great informative programs like this to you. The credibility is there. And my credibility still stands with all the people that are around me. Ruben, Jerry, everybody that's around me. We built an entire station based on the fact that we love what we do and we want to get it out to people and we want people to understand. And that's exactly the same thing you're doing, Anthony.
That's right.
And this is why we implore people, please, for your family's sake, please donate to Anthony Hudson's campaign. Let's make this man the next president of the United States, because not only do we deserve it, he deserves to lead us because he's not your typical political leader.
There you go.
That's it, guys.
Thank you,
I am
Dr.
so excited for you. I am happy to be your friend. I am happy to be your friend, Kevin and Jerry and Ruben. And listen, if I died tomorrow, I would just rest in knowing that this radio station that I helped create could do something for the whole United States.
Right.
Thank you, guys.
So,
Thank you.
Ruben, do me a favor and check the sound, because I hear some weird things happening
Yeah, in the background, yeah.
in the background. All right. So, guys, Anthony said he doesn't like asking for donations. Well, I don't mind. I'm going to beg, because there's a reason why here, guys. I don't care, right, Kev? You know me. Listen,
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Oh,
begging all of you. I don't care what it is, $1, $20, $5, $10, $100. We don't care. Because think about if every single person in this country that believes in what Anthony stands for donates, think about that. And as far as him not needing a lot of money to do all that he's done, I can attest to that, because when we were in Yuma, Arizona, there were 4 of them in one room. Okay? Listen, he does not need all the glamour that a lot of the politicians need. He just wants to do what's right for this country. The reason why I have a right to say what I want to say is this. You guys better stop complaining if you're not willing to do something about it. Because I'm so sick and tired of hearing everybody freaking complain, and some of them don't even vote. All right? I've been all over the friggin' world since the 80s on tours. I even went to Russia and I went to China, had machine guns pointed at me at their walls. So I've been to these walls all over the world. And I wasn't even scared because I knew what I was doing was right. Now, I'm going to share something with all of you listening. You think this is a joke, what's happening now in Washington? It's not. We are being lied to, deceived by evilness. Okay, and I don't really get into politics, but I'm getting into what's right for the United States. And let me tell you something. I've had machine guns pointed at me in Russia, okay, in Asia, in China, okay? They have no rights. Okay, you have no idea what it's like unless you've been out of the country to these places. So don't pretend you know, because I know firsthand. And I'm going to tell you something. They're not even allowed to worship or go into a church. They had guards up at the top of the steps making sure no one walked in. They didn't mind if you were 80 years old. You know why? Because you weren't a threat to the government. I have photos of this, and I was there. I was in the park watching this, okay, in Russia. And they had a guy with a machine gun, and he let the little 80-year-old through, but no one else. Is that what you want? Because that's what's coming. Do you understand that, guys? Listen, this is not about Democrat or Republican. It's not. Okay, yes, when I was younger, I was Democrat. Then when I got a little bit older, I was independent. Now that I'm getting older, I am more conservative because I know what's happening. But it doesn't mean that everything the Republicans do I agree with, or everything the Democrats do I don't agree with. That's not what this means. It means use your frickin' brain and have some common sense, guys, because if you have children or grandchildren, we need to make a change for them. It's going down, and it's going down quick. I do not want another freaking politician in office running for our country as President of the United States. I spent time with both of these men. I got to know them. They are real people like you and me who just want to make a difference. So I am begging all of you. I don't care. Listen, like he said, maybe you don't need that cup of coffee from Starbucks one day. That's it. Send the guy $5. All right? If everybody sent this guy $5, $10, even $20, whatever it is, I know we could all afford $5, right? You know how much we could do for this campaign? So, guys, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop getting these guys out. I'm not going to ever stop getting them noticed. Okay? We're bringing them back here again. I'm hoping it's in September. Stay tuned. We'll keep you posted. But stop effing complaining about anything that's going on in this country if you're not willing to do a little bit about it. All right? This is no longer about Republicans and Democrats. It's not. It's about the safety in this country for your frickin' freedom that I've protested against, okay, to save your freedom, all right, for your children, for your grandchildren. And that is all I have to say. I'm going to read a poem out of my book. Then I'm going to let these guys say their last goodbyes to you. I want to read this poem on purpose. It's called Integrity, because I think that's what we've lost, okay? I don't even believe for 1 minute there's much integrity in this world anymore, okay? I know who has it, okay? And I certainly do. Because, listen, I'm a Christian. I'm not ashamed to say it. I believe in Jesus. Let me tell you something. And my email is WWJD, Jerry. What would Jesus do? You know why? Because every day in my freaking life I think, all right, what would Jesus do? He won't slap that person, because that's what I really want to do, but I won't. And then I also think, what would my dad do? Thank God for him. So, guys, we have to have integrity. So I'm going to read this poem, really listen to the words, and then we're going to give the mics back to these two gentlemen to say their goodbyes to you, okay? Do you even know how to be true to yourself and others? I'm asking you. If you look in the mirror, do you like what you see, or do you shy away, or are you like me? I don't try to be someone I'm not. I do not pretend to have more than I got. You see, to me, what does matter most are people in general. So please don't you boast. on how great you are with all of your loot and the things that you have, with that horn that you toot. Because if you don't share with people in need, you become your own king filled with anger and greed, like our government. I do love the Lord. He made me this way. He taught me my worth and how to live each day. Do you have integrity? Do you really not care whose feet you step over? Life just seems unfair. What will it take to get back what we had in this country, guys? Because the way we're treating people is disgusting and sad. It doesn't seem to me that people want to change. They'd rather go through life like on a firing range. Because in the end, which we all will see, as we take our last breath, who do you want to be? That horrible guy, the liar, the thief, or the guy they all trusted? They're left with this grief. So make a choice on who to be. I hope you choose wisely on who you should be. And I hope you guys choose wisely on voting day. And if any of you are not registered to vote, get your butts out there and do it if you are an American citizen and you want to have the right to complain. Get your butts out there, register to vote. I hope you vote for this guy right here, Anthony Hudson, or shut your mouth. Okay, I think I've said enough now. So guys, take the mics and say your goodbyes to everybody.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I want to thank everybody once again for tuning in and watching this, and hopefully we'll get some contributions out of it. And once again, you know, if you want true representation, if you want a change in the way your life is, the way this country is ran, then don't vote for the politicians. Vote for grassroots, blue-collar individuals such as Anthony Hudson. I hope that we can win your vote. If you have any questions or concerns, please go to his website at anthonyhudson2k24.com. It has our email. It's got Mr. Hudson's email on there. It's got my email. It also has a couple other staff members' emails on there. Send us your questions. Send us your solutions. We'd love to hear them. Thank you once again.
Ant?
To everyone that's still here, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to what we have to say. You know, I said it earlier in the show that a true leader should lead by example, not by luxury. And I want to bring this country together. So it's my choice to tell you that I love each and every one of you. I respect you. I look forward to meeting you, conversing with you, helping you. And if you will allow me, I look forward, God is my witness, into leading you into better days. Not with a suit and tie, not with a fancy jet or a bunch of fancy vehicles, but with a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, and my working gloves and my boots, because that's how we get stuff done in this country. I support you. I recognize you, and I appreciate you. Go ask any other candidate if they do any of those. I appreciate your time. Thanks for listening. God bless you all, and God bless these United States of America.
Ruben, I think we're going to do something different today. I don't want to play my theme song. I want to pray. I have to pray. I feel compelled. Yeah. So I want to pray over you guys over this show today, okay? So everybody, just bow your heads and give it to God. And if everybody out there wants to pray in enjoyment, I would appreciate it, because God says if more than 2 people come, he's going to listen and he's going to answer our prayers, okay? Father God, I thank you and I praise you for who you are, Lord. And I lift up this show today. I hope it goes all over the world. Father, I lift up Anthony Hudson. I lift up Kevin Duncan, because they're doing an incredible job together. Anthony Hudson, I believe, could be the best president we've ever had. Father, you made them. He is just a regular guy, just like us, right? He's not a lying thief politician. He's not dishonest. He has no agenda except to make this country great again, the country that you made for us, Lord. The United States of America, where our children can be safe, where our grandparents can now, listen, my father's rolling over in his grave, Lord, okay? Where our grandparents can look down from heaven and smile once again, because I don't think they're smiling right now, not even my parents. Father God, I lift these two guys up to you for safety first, Father, because there have been threats. So I put Anthony and Kevin in your hands, that nothing, no harm comes towards them. Okay? You always block it. You've blocked it so far, Lord, and I know you have the capability of blocking it from here on out. And Father, last but not least, if it is in your will, please, please, I'm begging you, get this guy noticed and hopefully a seat in the White House as the President of the United States. I thank you and I praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Man.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.